Episode 154. Bahamut is finally dead, and Komori's vacation can finally begin. By which I mean the Moogle delivery quests. Touring around Eorzea and meeting weird people, or something. Is what I would say, and that's what I did say in the last episode, but I'm going to change plans again, just because. We'll get to those Moogle quests someday, but I'm going to pretend that all of the armor that we had to buy, this expensive level 80 armor, for the sake of defeating Bahamut, put a real dent in Komori's wallet, which it actually did kind of cost me around 300,000. That's including the gil that I made while leveling up to the duty roulette, which is pretty lucrative, but probably cost me a bit more than 300,000. 500,000 is still plenty enough for a vacation, but if Komori wants to buy a house someday, which, I don't know, maybe, that's not nearly going to be enough. So before we go on vacation, we're going to go on a little treasure hunt. That's my excuse for doing this little side mission that kind of caught my eye, while browsing the wiki or something. Spoiler alert, we're not gonna really get any real gil from this, not millions and millions of gil to buy a house. Just a fun little thing to do that I've never actually done on my main character. We'll pretend this is Komori looking for funds for her vacation, which I guess should be provided by the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. But I guess fighting primals incurs its own costs. And I guess if we worked for the Moogles, they would pay us too, but I assume delivering the mail pays less than being a Scion, so maybe Komori's only hope of getting back what she lost is striking it rich. Maybe this guy knows something about that. Elements, wheels? Bah, it's gibberish. Utter gibberish. As I live and breathe, a warrior of light. I haven't seen your like in years, not since bloody Cartano, certainly. I see you refuse to confirm or deny my assessment. Keeping a low profile, are we? Very well. I shall speak of this to no one. By the by, my name is Valiant Heart. A pleasure to meet you, my lady. Ah, look at us. Two veterans, burdened with experiences beyond the common man's ken. I say we should be friends, you and I. To that end, I shall share with you my reason for being here. In so doing, deepen our bond. Tell me, have you heard of Winebard? He was an explorer of some renown 10 years ago, though he regrettably retired and passed on not long ago. It is said that he discovered a treasure worth 100 million gil. I don't know the going rate for a house, but this is probably enough to buy a large house, right? I think so. That's right. 100 million gil. Winebard called it the most precious secret of Lalafudos III, who was Sultan of Belladia some 700 years ago. Now we know a little bit about Belladia from previous quests, actually strangely from Hildebrand, which was mainly a comedy questline, but also dished out a bit of lore about this whole place. Belladia being the original kingdom that split into Ul'dah and Sildeh, which eventually warred with each other, with Ul'dah coming out as the victor, and Sildeh being kind of buried in history. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not sure Komori even remembers all of that. Just think what we might do with such a treasure. Aye, I say we. For should you aid me in my search, I would gladly share the spoils. What say you? Should you choose to undertake this quest, you will receive no guidance from the journal or the duty list. You will need to read the text carefully, and decipher the clues to determine your next course of action. Well, that could be a problem. I like to imagine, despite everything that she's gone through, Komori's reading comprehension skills are still rather novice level, to put it lightly. Moreover, it would be unwise to rely on other adventurers for assistance, as their clues and objectives may differ from yours. The path your quest may take, and the rewards you may receive are unknown. Yet knowing this, will you follow in the footsteps of Winebot and seek out the treasure of Lalafuto III? Yeah. This is actually a pretty interesting quest. The reason I'm doing it is because it's one of those quests that only unlocks after defeating the Ultima weapon, of which there are several, many, like across a realm Reborn, all across Eorzea and all that. Including certain orange quests like this, most of them blue quests, but this one caught my eye because it wasn't linked to anything like a hard mode dungeon or anything like that, or like a Hildebrand questline. It was just like an off-branching quest that I never really did on my main character, and after looking into it, it seemed like it was just some kind of special riddle-solving quest. And of course, we're not going to get millions of gil from this, otherwise everybody would do this, but I don't exactly remember what the reward is. It's probably nothing really interesting. The journey there is probably going to be the only fun we get, right? I don't know if I can solve these riddles. I just kind of went through the wiki and read the first riddle, pretty much know the answer to that one or how to solve it. There are a few more riddles after that, but I guess we'll tackle them as I get to them, and if I find myself unable to continue, then I guess I'm just going to look it up. Of course you will. Only a great fool would turn her back on phenomenal wealth and everlasting glory. Now then, to the task at hand. Upon this statue of the Silent King is writ a message, left to us by Winebot himself, which I believe will lead us to the treasure. Alas, it is encoded, and deciphering it is no small feat. See for yourself. I have only finished the first passage. What is worse, the contents are nigh unintelligible. It appears to be a riddle, but beyond that I cannot say. And so I would turn to you. If you solve the riddles I decipher, then together we can claim the treasure of Lalafuto III. A simple arrangement, yes? Then let us begin at once. Look to the statue for the first riddle. We're going to pretend this partnership goes beyond just that. Not just him deciphering it, but him reading for Komoi. Otherwise, Komoi would never be able to solve the riddle. Maybe she's smart enough to solve a riddle if she hears it, but she just can't read it herself. Carved upon the statue is a series of strange characters. Next to them, written in chalk, you find Valiant Heart's translation, which he reads aloud for you. ALTHSPSRETE. Fire, lightning, water, earth, ice, wind. The wheel must turn anew. Now I know the solution to this, and we'll get to that. But the thing that I want to note here is that this part of the riddle, as I mentioned in the tooltip before, or whatever you call it, is different for every adventurer. Well, not every adventurer. It differs between adventurers. I think there's like a set of 3 different solutions this could be or something. So it's kind of one of those game design things where they make it so that you can't just rely on having other people help you. You could just look it up in the wiki and get all of the solutions, so you know which one it should be, but this is just like a subtle way to make it so that people in the game talking to each other can't just always rely on each other, I guess. And besides, the real fun is doing it yourself in the first place, right? Anyway, I need to like write this down or remember it. I do have a notepad here, so let me just do this. On one row, all right. First riddle. ALTHSPISRETE. And as a side note, I wonder how this exactly works out in other languages. Must be pretty grueling on the translation teams. And then I'll just abbreviate the elements. F, L, W, E-I-W. W-N for wind and W-A, or W-T for water. Okay. The Domiturges summoned one of their own from the ossuary to inspect this message when it was first found. He came and went in less than a bell, having determined at a glance that it wasn't Belladian in origin. Yet the treasure we seek belonged to a Belladian sultanate, and there must be a reason why Weinbach chose to mark this statue. That fellow, Yayoroku was his name, I believe, may have insight into this riddle. Well, we know where the Thaumaturgus Guild is, so we don't need a quest marker for that. Yayoroku, I can remember a name. Have we even met Yayoroku before? Is he just specific to this quest? Ah, this guy's always standing here. We've talked to him before. You wish to speak of ancient Belladia? It would be my pleasure to converse with a fellow student of history. Wait, this isn't about Weinbach's message, is it? Then you must be another wide-eyed treasure hunter, searching for the lost treasure of Lalafuto III. Weinbach was a skilled storyteller, and you would be forgiven for thinking his tales were all true. Even now, I cannot say if he was lying to us, or himself. You say you deciphered his message? Very well, let us hear it. Fire, lightning, water, earth, ice, wind. The wheel must turn anew. The 6 elements, but the order is wrong. The spark of lightning ignites when it strikes. Thus fire is born. The heat of fire renders to ash all that it touches. And thus earth is born. The density of earth shuns and harbors cold, and thus ice is born. The armor of ice melts away, and thus water is born. That's a pretty neat mnemonic, a good way to remember the wheel. Lightning becomes fire. Of course, I don't have to memorize all this, but it's just because it's a neat mnemonic, I kind of want to. Lightning becomes fire, then fire to earth, earth to ice, ice to water, then water to wind. The moistness of water mists and rises, and thus wind is born. The gusts and sighs of wind gather the clouds, and thus lightning is born. A passage from essences and permutations, in case you were unaware. Anyway, I have no idea what Weinbach meant to say. And the solution, in case it wasn't obvious, just have to put those letters that were kind of strangely over here. I guess I didn't have to write this down because I have the log. I'll probably forego writing things down on my pen and paper in the future, anyway. The solution here is obviously just putting those things in the right order based on what shows up here. So, like you said, it was lightning first, so it's TH, then fire, AL, then what was it? Fire gives way to earth. That would be hard to see. Dolls. And then earth becomes ice, RE. Ice becomes water, SPI, and then wind, T. Dolls Respite. Another place we've been to for Thaumaturge quest stuff. This is the first and easiest of the riddles, and I knew that answer from just browsing the wiki out of curiosity from what this mission is. From here on out, I guess I'll be on my own, but I know this game well enough. In fact, I've just done this on my, pretty much finished, my second playthrough of A Realm Reborn. All of this stuff is now fresh in my memory, all of the locations Psychomori has gone to. Although there are probably some nooks and crannies I haven't been to yet. Maybe relating to other job quests or something. Luckily this one is related to black mages, so this one's easy. Here we are. Doll's Respite. What the hell do you want from us? You're no longer our patron deity. That's a Zema now. Anyone back here? Anyone in here? Some kind of prison? I've never noticed this before. It actually seems like it's stairs that goes up somewhere. Well, this is Doll's Respite. Don't see anything here though. Did I pass by something on the way in? Maybe inside here? Right. Yeah, I did read this far in the wiki. There's an NPC you have to talk to. First this guy, just because I'm wondering what this guy does here, outside of Doll's Respite. Pilgrim Merchant Adventurer. Doll judges you not by who you are, or where you hail from. Open your heart to his blessing, and you will find respite in his halls. Just a religion guy, outside of the religion place. And this guy, standing out. I didn't realize a haircut like this was in the game, especially for Lalafell. It kind of really accentuates how round their heads are. No, how huge their heads are. Como, is your head that big? I guess it is. That's terrifying. Actually, it's not as big as this guy's. If we were just to compare. Yeah, I guess his head is a bit taller, isn't it? I think. At least you're not this guy, eh? At long last, does the wheel turn anew? Are you the one for whom I have waited? Praise the 12. Master Winebar told me it might be years, even decades until one came, if someone came, but I swore an oath, so I couldn't. You don't understand. This is all so exciting. But you're not here for that, or for me. You're here for the treasure, aren't you? This is Master Winebot's journal, and it belongs to you now. No, that's not true. It was always yours. And you had yet to claim it, is all. Keep it close, fellow explorer. This is only the beginning. He never told us what it was, the treasure. I think he thought just knowing was enough to put us at risk. So he hid it, and left his clues so that only an explorer worthy of the prize could ever hope to succeed. They call him a charlatan, but I know he spoke the truth. It's real, and you'll find it. And then, you'll show it to me, won't you? I mean, if you're still here by the time we're done with the quest. You're like one of those NPCs that disappears after the quest is done, right? So, if we remember. Alright, Valiant Heart. Read this journal for us. That's your end of the bargain. Gomor, you've returned. Tell me, have you solved Winebot's riddle? Where did it lead you? Thaumaturges. The journal of the explorer himself. I knew I was right to trust in you. I have news to share as well, though it is not quite as uplifting. I have deciphered another passage only to find myself confronted with yet another inscrutable riddle. But I'm sure you'll have no trouble with it, given how quickly you deduce the answer to the first one. Well, I was using a guide, so we'll see. You'll find my translation next to the message as before. I'm counting on you, my puzzle aficionado. Alright. My first real riddle, this time without the help of the guide. Carved upon the statue is a series of strange characters. Next to them written in chalk, you find Valiant Heart's latest translation, which he again reads aloud for Komor. 180504, 1301142000919, 06011211219. Jahel knows her sums. Do you know who Jahel is? The next riddle is waiting for you, my friend. Go and do what you do best. Okay, he gave us a hint to talk to the thaumaturge last time. I guess we gotta solve this on our own. I don't know who Jahel is. Do we just have to add up the different numbers here or something? Well, I don't see what that would give us. 180504 would just give us 18, right? And the second one would be 6, 10, 12, 21, 30, 39, 18, 39, and then 8, 10, 23. 18, 39, 23 tells me nothing. So I don't think we just sum these up. The next thing that I was kind of guessing before I read that second line, Jahel knows her sums, was just the alphabet, right? But if we were to correspond the letter A to 1, I don't think we would get anything because 0, what would 0 be? Unless 0 is A, so maybe 1 is B and 8 is I? B-I-A... I guess I will be using this pen and paper after all. E. No, so... that's definitely not it. Not English. There's some kind of Jahel, but I don't know who Jahel is. Have I ever met a Jahel? It wouldn't be anyone in the area, would it? Anyone inside here called Jahel? Does that name strike any bells to me? I don't think it does. Nah, they wouldn't put the NPC right next to us here. This is only the second riddle, but it seems like it might be harder than the first one. Well, I guess what I'm going to do is not look up the solution, but quickly see if I can look up who Jahel is. Maybe that's someone that I should recognize. Okay, apparently Jahel is an NPC in the North Shroud. I guess I just got finished saying that I'm fresh off of completing A Realm Reborn, or nearly completing A Realm Reborn for the second time. Saying that I know my stuff, but apparently I don't know enough to know that Jahel is an NPC somewhere here in the North Shroud. Who is Jahel? Oh, it's you. The first house I came into. Huh. Winebot carved a riddle on the statue, and included my name along with it. I ought to be flattered, but I'm just confused. This sums nonsense reminds me of all the times he argued with me over this bill. Time and time again I would have to show him the calculations, and when I was finished, he would always apologize in the same queer way. I learned the letters of mathematics, but alas, not the grammar. I don't know why, but a simple sigh would have sufficed. The letters of mathematics, but not the grammar? What the hell does that mean? Grammar? Fresh after getting the hint from Jahel, I can't make any sense of that hint. Because when she says the letters of mathematics, the first thing that comes to my mind is the same thing I already tried, converting these two letters. Unless 1 is A, maybe? If I convert this to ignoring the zeros, 1 is A, and then 8 would be H. Ignore the 0, just put that down as a 0. 5 would be E, another 0, and then 4 would be D, which gives us AH0E0D. Ignoring the zeros, that's just AHED. And then the next one, AC0, AA. DB, no. I can't see what this would give us. There's no real rhyme or reason if this was just a straight numbers to letters situation. What about the numbers that we don't see? We see a 1, 2, a 3, we see a 4, 5, a 6. We don't see a 7, we do see an 8 and a 9. Oh wait, what if... No, that wouldn't make sense. Unless... Could be... The zeros are... Right. My little numbers to letters thing wouldn't work because it'd just be the first 9 or 10 letters if we were using 0 to 9. But there are 26 letters in the alphabet, so... It actually... Yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it? It's actually 18, 5, 4, 13, 1, 14, 20, 9, 19, 60, etc., etc. Or not 60, 06. That would make sense because all of those are less than 26, and that would make the zeros make sense. They're just kind of placeholders to show you that those are supposed to be the first 10 numbers, or the first 9 numbers, so... Looking at it that way, just squatching off on my pen and paper here. What is 18? And an L. Another L. Oh, Red Mantis Falls. Okay, that last word is pretty helpful. Gotta look for some kind of waterfalls then. Now, where exactly are the Red Mantis Falls? They wouldn't happen to be here, would they? They would show up on the map, right? Maybe? If they don't, this episode is going to take a lot longer than I would have thought. No Red Mantis. Okay. Just like before, we're going to use the wiki to try to find where Red Mantis Falls is. I guess I'm technically not using this to solve the riddle, I'm using it to find locations and people, which is still kind of cheating, but I'm okay with it. Raincatcher Gully, Eastern Lenosia. Could I have found that if I just kept on searching the map? I could have, yeah. It's just right here. I don't feel bad about looking that one up, and actually, I would have felt less bad if it didn't even show up on the map at all. But it does show up on the map, so that's at least one other thing that people, or that the quest designers were not too unkind about. They were unkind about making you find this random NPC to hell. Just, I guess, through memory, if you've ever talked to every, NPC throughout your adventures in A Realm Reborn. So what would be over here? It's not just going to be the same guy, right? Or would it be? We got something. Magic runes float across your eyes, assuming familiar shapes. Seeker of treasure and truth, I congratulate you and bid you welcome. Who are you, I wonder, and why have you come this far? What drives you to solve my riddles, and what do you expect to find? You must wonder what kind of man I was as well. Doubtless you have heard stories, some more flattering than others. But I have rambled enough, and you must be rewarded. Allow me to share with you a verse written by my favorite poet. Clandestine rendezvous, leave me breathless and wanting. Obsession consumes me, a thirst for the taboo. Is that the next riddle? Well, we're just supposed to talk to Valiant Heart next, so maybe he'll shed some light. Well, I'm glad that went by relatively smoothly. I was stumped there for a while, but it did end up just being as simple as converting numbers into letters. I just needed to realize that numbers sometimes have 2 digits instead of 1. I guess that kind of goes in line with Komori's reading level, huh? Even she can convert numbers into letters. In fact, that's probably one of the first things she did while learning how to read. Valiant Heart, our skill at reading finally paid off. A message written in magic runes, amazing. Though the content was rather disappointing now that I think on it. I was expecting a clue to the treasure's location. Oh, I almost forgot. I finished translating another riddle. Why don't you go take a look? I thought the riddles would come from, like, each of the solutions we got, but are the things that we're getting just something that'll come in handy later? A travel log, a thick yet compact tome filled with cryptic riddles and queer sketches. If one were to know its secrets, the log could quite possibly be the key to discovering wondrous treasure. Nothing really of flavor in there. And then that poem, just to get it in my head in case it comes in handy later. Clandestine rendezvous, leave me breathless and wanting. Obsession consumes me, a thirst for the taboo. I have no idea what that means. But it's not the next riddle, so I guess we're just doing this next. Carved upon the statue is a series of strange characters. Next to them written in chalk you find Valiant Heart's latest translation. He reads aloud for you. Rope and wood, across the gully. The members of the Marauders Guild understand the importance of etiquette. Okay, at least you gave me a location this time. Before we even try to solve that on our own, we'll just do the Marauders Guild. And actually, wait a second. As we're teleporting... Oh, oops. Can't open that up while teleporting. What did Jahel's hint even tell us? The letters of mathematics, but not the grammar. I don't see what not the grammar did for anything for us, but I guess the letters of mathematics did kind of point me towards converting letters or numbers to letters, so that might have been just the hint. The members of the Marauders Guild, no name. We'll just go talking to people, I guess. People that don't give a quest. If you can walk around while talking to someone, they usually don't have anything important to say. I didn't notice this though. They said the members of the guild, but I guess this is easier to find. A treatise on cultivating interpersonal relationships and influencing others catches your eye. You open it to the bookmark page and take note of an underlined passage, which you can't read for yourself, but you get someone else to read for you. A deliberate display of emotion, as befits the situation, can be effective in deepening your relationships with others. A deliberate display of emotion? What the hell does that mean? as befits the situation, can be effective in deepening your relationships with others. And what we're trying to solve is rope and wood across the gully. Now that we're actually trying to solve this, we have A, N, D, C, E, which are capitalized for some reason. And our hint is a deliberate display of emotion, as befits the situation, can be effective in deepening your relationships with others. I see. It's an emote. They want us to do an emote. Display of emotion. But where? Rope and wood across the gully. Didn't we just, like, look at a gully or something? Oh wait, this is like a 2-in-1. Okay. Yeah, the capitalized are A, N, D, C, E. They want us to dance. And they want us to go to a rope and wood bridge across some kind of gully. We were just looking at that, weren't we? Like... here? Yeah, we were just here. Raincatcher Gully. Same place. Must be this bridge here, yeah? Luckily this is in the same location as the last riddle we solved. This isn't rope and wood though. This is just wood. So like this is also Raincatcher Gully, right? This bridge over here? I don't know what a gully is, but it's like a... not a cliff, but like a canyon? But yeah, this is the one. I remember this bridge from the Minfilia, or the Philomene questline, right over there. As you move closer to the light, it begins to grow dim, as if retreating from your presence. Perhaps you should continue or reconsider your approach. Komori, show off those elegant dance moves you learned from the master of dance himself. Of course, they won't accept this, they probably just want the normal dance, but we're gonna do this one. They didn't accept it. They don't even give us a failure message. So yeah, we're just going to do the actual dance. The embarrassing one. And we know it's correct because I can't move while doing the emote, meaning I'm locked in. Magic runes float across your eyes, assuming familiar shapes. Seeker of treasure and truth, I must congratulate you once more. Let us celebrate your latest accomplishment with another verse from my favorite poet. Continuing off of last time, it was... Clandestine rendezvous, leave me breathless and wanting. Obsession consumes me, a thirst for the taboo. I guess we're continuing that. Perchance we meet in public, be not a beguiler. Ply me not with honeyed words, and spare me glances alluring. Spicy. Clandestine rendezvous. There was a track from Final Fantasy VII Remake, the first one. I think it was like, yeah, Midnight Rendezvous. It plays when you're kind of going around with Eris, around the slums or something, between the two sectors. That was one of my favorite tracks. A really cool, nice, nighttime theme. Midnight Rendezvous. Made all the better by the pleasant company and the nighttime atmosphere while it was playing. Eh? You had to do what to trigger the message? I know Winebot had some skill with magics, but that beggars belief. That curiosity aside, why is he continuing to spout poetry? Ah, never mind. For now, let us focus on the next riddle, which I've just finished translating. It's waiting for you, Komori. Carved upon the statue is a series of strange characters. Next to them, written in chalk, you find Valiant Heart's latest translation. He reads aloud. If sword plus sword equals dagger, return to me with a W of O. The master of the markets has my list. I think I know the master of the markets because we had 1 or 2 quests involving that guy, and I guess he just kind of stuck out to me as a strange character, and in the one interaction we had with him, I think it was like a Moogle quest or something, might have even been multiple quests. Should be Parsimont, right? I may not be the most educated man, but even I know arithmetic uses numbers, not letters. There could be multiple masters of the market since there are multiple markets, but I'm pretty sure they mean Parsimont because, well, I've wondered about that guy a couple of times, even I think one time on camera. And the only answer I got for why he just kind of hangs out right here, leaning against the wall, is that he's the master of markets. Parsimont, whatever. He is the right guy, right? The master of markets. Do we have to do this quest for him to get his dialogue? I wouldn't have thought we had to, but maybe there's just like a glowing thing around here. Lost, are we? Unsure how to navigate the rosewood and ebony stalls? Very well. If you wish to know more of the markets, I shall give you a practical education, free of charge. As master of the markets, I entertain many requests. This order from the whalers, for example. But I delegate their fulfillment to my hirelings, that I might tend to such tasks as I alone am capable of performing. For your betterment, personal betterment, I shall delegate the fulfillment of this particular request to you. I bid you search the stalls for a bone spearhead, a pot of beeswax oil, and a length of brambleweed rope, and deliver them to Saingled of the Lancers Guild. There is much and more to be found in these stalls, if you have the dedication to seek it and the coin to procure it. However, as my representative, you need only offer my name as payment. None will deny me. In fact, many will be all too eager to part with their wares. So numerous are the debts I am owed. A fine proposition, is it not? I am spared a simple task, and you gain priceless mercantile experience. Why, I should rightly charge you for such an opportunity. But worry not. I am a man of my word, and the terms will stand. Deliver the goods to Saingled, and she may even see fit to reward you. What a character, right? Like I said, just the way that he talks down to you for being an old man that just leans against the wall in front of the market board. What a guy. Anyway, we're not here for that. I hold no such list. Mayhap this winebard met the master of markets in Nimsa Oral Daw? Damn it. Well, I'm glad they created specific dialogue for this quest, if you talk to the wrong guy. And I'm glad you don't have to actually do his quest to get that dialogue, just have to accept it. I suspected as much. And these are Limsa Oral Daw, he said. I don't know who the masters of markets are there, but actually wait. Before I go wandering around Limsa, I do know the master of markets in Ul'dah, don't I? He was the guy that gave us like the rundown of the markets the first time we went there, right? When we started out in like the first episode. Let's see. You. The adventurer returns asking after a winebard. Yes, I remember now. He requested my assistance in locating a number of items many years ago. Right, so I guess it could be like 3 of any of these market guys, but it must have been, that's right. The whole introductory questline when you start the game gives you a rundown of like the basic mechanics, so they stationed this guy, or one of these guys, at each of the major city-states, and The equivalent would, I guess, be Parsimon-Tret, maybe, if you started your quest or started your game in Gridania. I've never, although I guess I did do that on my main character, but I don't remember talking to him, so that would have been years ago. Anyway, the point is that it could be any of these three guys that probably you would be directed to by this quest. Another situation where it might change depending on who accepts the quest, or like the differences between the solutions to the riddle being different between every player. I think, anyway. However, his list lacked sufficient information, and I was unable to proceed. Fortunately for you, I am loath to dispose of any document related to business. Now where did I... Ah, here we are. 1 equals pearl, 2 equals fluorite, 3 malachite, 4 choker, 5 sunstone, 6 earrings, 7 ring, 8 bracelet. To be fair, it matters not if it were more detailed. A dead man cannot pay a finder's fee, after all. It seems like this one was actually more necessary, than the other ones, which you could have maybe solved on your own just looking at the letters and the numbers or whatever. But this one, you actually needed the key to decipher. So let's see. Sword plus sword equals dagger. Then return to me with a W of O. Oh great, we're gonna have to do math. That's fine. I can do math. So 2 times sword, which is like a 5-digit number, equals a 6-digit number, which is dagger. I'm not sure how to use my pen and paper for this, but... So D. D plus D would have to equal R, or ER, right? Numbers. Well, basically, to solve this riddle, should be clear, you have to find out what these letters correspond to in numbers in terms of math. 2 times sword equals dagger, whatever numbers are there. Then you take the number from W, and then the number from O, and then you get a thing here. The material and the accessory. So these are pearl, fluorite, malachite, one of those 3, and then a choker, sunstone, earrings, ring, or bracelet. So it's got to be... So W would either be 1, 2, or 3. That kind of helps us. So W equals 1, 2, or 3. Meaning what exactly? And O would have to be 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. Which doesn't help us too much. What do we have in common between these two? There's an R and an R, and a D and a D. Can we cut the music? I'm trying to concentrate here. Just to get the text up against some dark background. I could just cut this out, me trying to solve the math here, but I so rarely cut things out of these videos other than waiting time for dungeons. I feel like I record these videos to capture my experiences as they are, so maybe in the future when I'm actually watching my videos for nostalgia or something, I'll get the nostalgia of watching myself solve the riddle. So W has to be 1, 2, or 3. No, wait. a W of O. W would be the actual accessory, so it would be like a ring of blank. So O has to be 1, 2, or 3. Assuming that D is not a 0, which it could be, then sword plus sword, which are both 5-digit numbers, add up to dagger, which is a 6-digit number. The only possible number that D could be would be a 1, because there's no way that they add up to, like, 20,000 or something. Or rather, that would be 200,000. So assuming D is a 1, which it could still be a 0 if it's just like a 0 in front of a GGER or something like that. We'll just assume it's a 1. We'll equate D equals 1 on my pen and paper. And that makes R equals 2. And like this, we can start solving it. Because R from sword, adding those up gives us E. R plus R, 2 plus 2 is 4, so E equals 4. And then we have two G's. Knowing that we have R and D, which would be 2 and 4, 24 plus 24 is 48, which means that they don't add up to add a 1 to the hundreds place, so that means G is just either... yeah, G would just be O plus O, right? So O plus O equals G. I would say G equals W plus W, but there's a chance that O plus O adds up to, again, spill over into the, what is that, the 10,000th place? Or no, that would be the 1000th place. Except no, they can't. Like I said, O would have to be a 1, 2, or 3. Right. So, yeah, G also equals W plus W. In other words, W and O are the same. W equals O. Because I can only see W plus W equals G, and O plus O equals G. I'm just going to be staring at this for a while, huh? I hope this doesn't go on any longer than the whole Nail Deus Darnus fiasco. I would hate for this to be the greatest enemy that Komori has ever faced. Reading. It has to be a 1, 2, or a 3, the O. So G has to be a 2, a 4, or a 6. That's right. That's right. Huh. How silly of me. The way that O plus O can equal G, and W plus W can also result in a G, but not equal G, is that W plus W spills over to become the same number in the ones place, but W plus W becomes like a teen number, like 11, 12, 13, etc. And then you chop off the 1, because that becomes part of the A in dagger. And then W plus W would become like a 12, a 14, or a 16 to match the 2, 4, or 6 that O plus O has to add into. So of our options, we have choker, sunstone, earrings, ring, and bracelet. 4 plus 4 does not add into a teen. 5 plus 5 does, but that would be a 10, so it wouldn't be 12, 14, or 16. 6 plus 6 could be it. 7 plus 7 could be it. And 8 plus 8 could be it. 12, 14, and 16. So we don't know which of those it would be, just that it has to be either 1, 2, or 3 for O, or 6, 7, or 8 for W, yeah. But we can use that, knowing that it does have to add up, absolutely, into a teen number, that means the 1 gets added into the A, which is S plus S. So S plus 1 equals A, which, what does that tell me? Does that tell me anything? What good is that to me? We know that S plus S has to add up into, not just to have something in the A place, but also the D place to get that 6-digit number out of two 5-digit numbers. And we know that D is a 1, so S plus S equals not... Right, so S plus 1 doesn't equal A. S plus 1 equals DA. Right, that's what I should be doing. And we know DA, the D is a 1, so... How does that help me? Again, I'm still not sure I need to solve for S, I'm just going down this rabbit hole. This is probably pretty embarrassing. If I go ahead and upload this, I might just be embarrassing myself trying to math this out. This is probably a lot simpler than I'm making it, but that's fine. If anybody ever finds this video, anybody that knows me in real life, please don't judge me for my terrible riddle solving / math solving skills. I'm not exactly the smartest whatever in the tool shed. Still trying to solve this. How long has it been on just this one riddle staring at this screen? At least it'll help out the bitrate on my video. It'll take up less storage space if there's less pixels moving around and whatnot. Not that that matters. I should just want to cut this down as much as possible. This is how you play puzzle games though, isn't it? At least it's how I play puzzle games. Things like Ace Attorney. When you're trying to crack someone's testimony, you just stare at their words for a while, scrolling back and forth. This is a bit different, but... It has to be a 2, a 4, or a 6. Are any of these items not possible? I know pearl earrings are a thing. I'm pretty sure a fluorite ring can be a thing, and why wouldn't a malachite bracelet be a thing? No, I'm pretty sure they're all something. And actually, wait, I was ignoring sunstone, wasn't I? I thought sunstone was like a... Right. They're not all organized like with the materials at the top and the accessories at the bottom. Sunstone is a material, but they put that below choker, which kind of had me off my game. So is that another possibility that I ignored? Could, what was it? O plus O actually be 5 plus 5 or something, or... Well, if O plus O is 5 plus 5, that would make G a 0. And then... W plus W would have to be resulting in AG, something 0. If we're adding on the 1 from that previously, from adding up a O plus O, W plus 1, I don't think there's any way that could equal a 0, which we're assuming would be G if it were 5 plus 5. Yeah, there's no number combination of W plus 1 that would give us a 0 for G, so I'm pretty sure it's not going to be sunstone, unless I'm doing that wrong. Let's move somewhere away from the crafters. It's a little bit distracting, isn't it? Over here by this door, related to the Beast Tribe quests, the inter-societal quests. We'll solve it right here. For sure. I'm so sure. Before entering this episode, I wondered if this would be a good idea to record. I knew I could just look up the puzzle solutions if I got too stumped. But I didn't count on the fact that I would be so stubborn as to not look it up, even at the cost of going so far over the length of one episode, my usual length of one episode. I guess I didn't count on the fact that if I go even slightly over 1 hour, then I lose all inhibition and start recording for however long it takes to finish whatever I was doing, which in this case is this one quest. Maybe I should just look it up at this point. I guess I solved some of it, right? Maybe. I solved that O should be a 1, 2, or a 3, and W should be 6, 7, or 8. But the fact that I can't get any further than this maybe indicates to me that maybe I haven't solved anything. Maybe my reasoning is flawed in the first place if I reach this dead end, which doesn't have any more whittling down of the possibilities. So knowing that it's a 1, 2, or 3 means that there's no extra number, extra 1, spilling over into the thousands place addition, which is W plus W. W plus W has to be 4, 6, 7, or 8. And for it to also be equal to G, which is in the ones place of that sum, equating to G, it would have to either be 6, 7, or 8. But then what? They're all equivalent in that there's nothing else we can do with that information. My TV is dimming out because I've been staring at a dark screen for too long. We know that S to add up to something that reaches the, what would that be, the 100,000th place, with DAGGER being a 6-digit number. S would have to be 5 or above. 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Is that, wait, could it be? The letters, that's right, DAGGER. If we're assuming that both of the G's are the same number, which we are, then we can also equivalently assume that none of the letters here share the same number, so S cannot be equal to D, S cannot be equal to R, S cannot be equal to O or W. We know that D has to be 1, R has to be 2, E is a 4. So yeah, solving for S and W would help us eliminate other possibilities for numbers. And actually, yeah, if we know D is 1 and R is 2, and we kind of eliminated 5 as a possibility to that math stuff, then the only material left that isn't taken up by another letter, would be malachite, 3. So we can just fill in a 3 for O equals 3. So O plus O is 3 plus 3, and G equals 6, meaning the other G in the thousands place, which is the addition of W plus W, would have to be 8 plus 8. W equals 8. And now I have W and O, but just to solve for the rest of those things, because I think I can, just to be sure, W plus W is 8 plus 8. And that would give us, wait, right, so first we're solving for A. A would have to be 7, because no wait, that's not it. Equals 15, which means A equals 5. So the final solution is S. Would I write down S? Did I write down S? I guess I didn't. Wait, did I? Right. S was 7, what I just solved for. S equals 7, W equals 8, O equals 3, R equals 2, D equals 1. And that adds up to DAGGER, which is 1, 5, 6, 6, 4, 2. Okay, and that's the addition done. I could have just stopped when I had W and 0, but I spent so long on this. I don't know, I just wanted to finish it. Like fighting Nail again in Savage after I didn't have to. Anyway, the W of 0, that's the 8 of, or not the W of 0, the W of O. That's the 8 of 3, which is the bracelet of Malachite. Okay, we got the item. What the hell does that even tell us, though? Well, we should be able to buy it here, right? Like one of these merchants. One of these guys, yeah, the jeweler. Is it Battlecraft? What did I say it was again? Malachite. Having to check my notes again. I just solved it, but I immediately forgot. I guess I'm glad I wrote it down. W of O, W equals 8, and O is 3, so Malachite bracelet, right. Here's Malachite, we want a bracelet. Wait, it's not here. Maybe it's something that doesn't exist, a Malachite bracelet. There's one way to check if an item exists or not, and that's through the market board. Malachite. Yeah, it exists. It actually... I guess it's just not sold by that guy. Although there is... Well, I don't want to buy from here, and actually I can't buy from here. I don't expect they expect you to take up the class of goldsmiths to create your own bracelet, so there should be a place to buy it, and I think there was another like jewelry store over here? Yeah, Estane's Aesthetics. I'm not sure if I went over here for like a quest in one of the episodes for Komoi, but I do remember coming here on my main character for something. Maybe I just came here to buy glamours or something. This is like where you just get all these different colored rings, and actually I made sure to buy each of these colors of earrings because on my main character I wanted these different colored earrings for whatever color coordinated outfit I wanted to wear based on glamours. So yeah, Malachite bracelet. Okay, we got it. Can you help us? No. We have it. Now what? Where do I... Here it is. Here it is, the Malachite bracelet. In all its glory. And it's in our inventory now. Can we just go back to talk to... Return to me with a W of O. I'm not sure what return to me would mean, other than returning to... Who was this guy? This, Winebod. How would we return to Winebod without knowing where he is, but... Do we just talk to you? Or this? Does it have to be in our, armory chest? Or do we have to equip it? That could be a thing. Okay, that was it. I'm so glad. It worked out. As you linger near the strange markings, your jewelry begins to grow uncomfortably warm. Wait and see if anything happens. Yeah. Magic runes float across your eyes, assuming familiar shapes. Is this supposed to be Winebod? No, that can't be. Winebod is like a recent guy. Seeker of treasure and truth, you are clever indeed. I pray you appreciate this next verse as much as I. Ere long this torment must end. Together we must be. Renounce it all I would, but we must be more discreet. You saw something, didn't you? Tell me everything. Everything. Eh? Again he includes a verse of poetry. God, why must he be so obtuse? Why can he not just tell us where it is? I know not what to do, Komori. I finished deciphering the remaining portion of his message and... Just read it. Oh great, is this going to be even harder than the last one? I hope there's no math. Well, maybe I should hope for math rather than some esoteric riddle or an NPC that I don't remember. Carved upon the statue is a series of strange characters. Next to them, written in chalk, you find Valiant Heart's latest translation. He reads to you. Irrespective of the lives we lead, we are often defined by our beginnings and endings. The poet understood this, and so do I, and so must you. Seeker of treasure and truth, I have given you the key. The lock lies before you, behind my obfuscations. It's a story, you see, but not the one we were told. What does that mean? Damn, this is like the riddle of all riddles. It actually got me excited. Irrespective of the lives we lead, we are often defined by our beginnings and ends. The poet. So yeah, we'll go back to the poem. Irrespective of the lives we lead, defined by beginnings and ends. He has given us the key. The lock lies before you, behind my obfuscations. It's a story, you see, but not the one we were told. Defined by our beginnings and ends. Clandestine rendezvous leaves me breathless and wanting. Obsession consumes me, a thirst for the taboo. Restless and wanting, obsession consumes me, a thirst for the taboo. That usage of the words breathless and wanting and thirst, it feels like that's maybe something. I don't know what, but something. The next part was... We meet in public, not a beguiler. Ply me with honeyed words, spare me glances alluring. Ere long this torment must end. Together we must be, renounce it all I would, but we must be more discreet. Defined by beginnings and endings. While ignoring that part, the lock lies before you, behind my obfuscations. Like here? Yeah, I thought so. The strange markings are reminiscent of Winebod's encoded message, but are too worn to decipher. Okay, so yeah, this is the lock. Behind his obfuscations, meaning behind his riddle. We also have this travel log, which I'm not sure what this does for anything, because it doesn't really tell us anything, nor did we have to turn it in for anyone. We were just given it to us by the one guy in Doll's Respite or something. Cryptic riddles and queer sketches, if one were to know its secrets. The log could quite possibly be the key to discovering the wondrous treasure. Yeah, that's the key. I have given you the key. It's not like we can use this, though. It's not an item that can be used. But it is the key. I can't see how any of this text here could be related to a puzzle. It doesn't use any flowery language like the whole poem does. Other than the fact that it calls it the key to discovering the wondrous treasure. So, that key definitely relates to this key here, and this line. This is the lock, and we can't just jam the book into the lock. It's not that kind of thing. We have to somehow use the poet's beginnings and endings. If I could just get the poet's words all in one page, this would be easier. But we have to be more discreet. Could be like an emote thing. I don't know if there's like a renounce emote, but is there even like a breathless or whatever emote? Whatever that first one was. It might not be an emote. I guess we did do that for an earlier part of the quest, so maybe they just don't do that again. They don't do repeats of the solution to a previous puzzle. It hasn't been that case yet. We had to get an item, we had to find an NPC in a random place, and we had to do a dance. And so far none of those were really repeating, I guess. Maybe there were like 6 lines to this poem, right? So maybe the first 6 go together, and then the ending 6 go together, so clandestine obsession, perchance ply, air renounce. That doesn't give me anything, and in fact I don't even remember it too well. Clandestine plying something something air chance. If these were different colors, it would be a lot easier. Rather than looking at the literal words, let's try to look at what the poem is saying. Obviously it's some kind of story about some affair or something, people trying to meet each other discreetly. What exactly does that have to do with anything? Riddle-wise, that is. What does this have to do with objectives, locations, items, whatever? Got anything for us, Valiant Heart? Did I talk to you yet about this one? You mentioned the poet, so perhaps his verses contain a clue? I keep turning them over in my head, but to no avail. Oh, he can repeat them for us. Okay, that will actually be a huge help, because it'll just put it all on screen for me, or rather, all at the bottom of the log. Clandestine rendezvous leave me breathless and wanting. Obsession consumes me, a thirst for the taboo. Second, perchance we meet in public, be not a beguiler, ply me not with honeyed words, and spare me glances alluring. And third, ere long this torment must end, together we must be. Renounce it all I would, but we must be more discreet. And whatever this is, let's just say that during my enlistment in the Flames I picked up a few habits. Expensive habits. Yeah, that's why we're here too. Let me guess, level 80 armor? Really though, what does it matter? If we find it, we'll both be richer than Lord Lolovito. Okay, that's not related to the poem, but I'm glad we got that little bit of flavor. So, now that it's all on screen, maybe I can solve it a little bit easier. Beginning and end. Clandestine rendezvous. Leave me restless and wanting. Obsession consumes me, a thirst for the taboo. Man, this one. And here I was, begging for something that isn't math. This is way worse than the math one. I'll be soon hitting the 2-hour mark. I'm sure I've cut down a lot of my musings or whatever. Oh my god. Okay, it's simple. Here I was trying to get the beginning and ending words and whatever in different lines or whatever. First of all, this is organized by 6 lines, like a clandestine, beginning and wanting at the end being 1 line, then obsession, beginning the 2nd line, and taboo, ending the 2nd line, and then perchance and beguiler being the 3rd line, etc., for a total of 6 lines. I was trying to take the first letter, or the first words, or whatever, and the last words, but it was as simple as just taking the first letters. C-O-P-P-E-R, and then G-O-R-G-E-T, copper gorget. I guess they are repeating the last one because they want us to do a little item equipment for solving the puzzle. All I had to do was just take the first letters in each sentence, or each line, and the last letters in each sentence. It was that damn simple. I might have solved this a lot quicker if I actually got this all on screen and didn't have to scroll through everything one at a time. But this whole time I was dead set on using the words or whatever, when I just needed to take the literal letters. Well, I'm glad I didn't have to solve, or rather, I'm glad I didn't have to look up the solution to that one. But all the same, it's still embarrassing that it took me that long to solve. I kind of wish I looked it up maybe a minute in after trying to solve it. That way I didn't embarrass myself with recording how long it would take me to solve it on my own, which apparently is upwards of 30 minutes. Damn. Copper gorget. I can't believe it. Did I already have a copper gorget? No, I had a weather choker. Anyway. That should be it, right? And we have the journal, which is the key, but we never really used it. Will we be using it later? I'm pretty sure this is the last step. They say this is claim the treasure of Lalafuto, and it was very final, wasn't it? The language that they used in describing this last riddle. As you approach the faded markings, you feel the copper gorget around your neck grow warm. Magic runes float across your eyes, assuming familiar shapes. Seeker of treasure and truth, I can deny you no longer. The most precious secret of Lalafuto III, priceless beyond measure, is yours. But we were promised hundreds of millions of gil. Reach within and claim your prize. The grinding sound draws your attention to a section of the statue, where a small opening has appeared. And what did we fight through these riddles for? What was that? The statue. That hole wasn't there before. You solved it, didn't you? The final riddle. Then you know where the treasure is. That there, in your hands. That is the Sultan's secret treasure? Give it to me. Give it to me. Okay. The gods may condemn me. My people forsake me. History judge me a fool. power and prestige, fortune and fineries. All I would forsake for you, my kingdom may crumble. And it goes on like this, line after line, of love poetry. These are not more than the words of some lovesick buffoon to his beloved. Over and over he repeats the same hackneyed phrases, and his desire to renounce, to forsake, to abdicate the throne. Wait, could it be that this was written by Lalafuto III? Many believe that the Sultan's wife had him assassinated, so that she could claim the throne for herself. Though that would seem the most likely explanation, his sudden disappearance remains a mystery to this day. Yet if these poems are to be believed, Lalafuto III was madly in love with his paramour, and wished to be free of his royal responsibilities. He was plotting to flee the capital in secret, and may very well have succeeded. An ambitious courtier could have used these poems to gain favor with the Sultana or her enemies. On one hand, they are arguably evidence that Lalafuto III, the Third, still lived. On the other hand, one could assert that Memeto the Meek had him murdered for his ultimate betrayal. But why did Winebod claim the treasure was worth 100 million gil? 700 years ago he would have been right. But the nation of Belladia is no more. There's something here, written here in a different script. A love that will echo through the ages. Truly there is not more precious in all creation. All those riddles, all those clues, for this? Winebod, you thrice damned son of a whore. I can't pay off my debts with thriving poetry. And like that, we part ways. With a shrug. That was it. What did we get for that? We got 10 gil. And an achievement, not even a title. 10 gil is not going to pay off the debts that we incurred buying level 80 armor. All this for love poetry. I don't know how much of this I cut out, hopefully heaping swaths of me just standing around staring at puzzles. I don't normally cut those kinds of things out, but I think I'll make an exception for this one, just because of how embarrassing it would be to admit how long it took me to actually solve these. I would almost rather have looked things up a minute in after every single puzzle that stumped me, just so that it doesn't reflect on me poorly how long it takes me to actually honestly solve these, when the solutions ended up being much simpler than they had to be. I think Komori is sick of puzzles and sick of love. Absolutely sick of it. So next time we'll be doing the Valentiones event. Just because. I actually knew the ending of this quest would be related to some love poems when I was doing my research in what this quest entailed and what the rewards were. Which is why I did this in the spirit of the season, in place of doing the Moogle quests. Now that that's wrapped up, it's the perfect segue to some Valentine's shenanigans or whatever. But before that, I think Komori needs a moment to get rid of this bad taste in her mouth that all of this love talk has left her. Now would be a good time to take a break.